What up, YouTube? It's your boy Vic, and I am the Brooklyn Watch Guy. Today I'm coming at you with a review video, and we're going to be looking at this little guy right here. This is the Marathon Navigator. This is a pilot's watch from the Marathon Watch Company. Pretty cool watch. I've been wearing it now for steadily for a few weeks, and I'm ready to give you guys a review of the video. So without further delay, let's get into this. So a little bit of backstory on Marathon Watch Company for those of you who don't know, because I do try to be educational as well. Marathon, they were founded in 1904 as the Weinstrom Watch Company, or Weinstrom Watch. I'm sorry if I butchered that name. But yeah, they've been around since 1904. In 1939, that's when they became Marathon Watch. In 1941, they actually started to supply Allied forces throughout the war with timing instruments, not just watches, but anything else that they needed to keep track of time. But to this day, and this is impressive, they are still family owned. They do not belong to any of the big watch companies, Swatch Group or any of those other companies out there. So that's pretty impressive. They're in the fourth generation now of being family owned. They are a Canadian company. Their headquarters is in Ontario, Canada. So yeah, that's pretty impressive. So now we're gonna get into the Navigator itself. It's actually classified as a pilot's watch, even though it has more of a field watch aesthetic to it. But I guess it's because of the how the watch came about, and we're gonna get into that in a minute. But this watch, the Navigator, this watch was developed in 1986. It was requested by the Kelly Air Force Base, which is it's still there. It's in San Antonio, Texas, but it's not Kelly Air Force Base anymore. It actually became part of Lackland back in 2001. Military does this. They do restructuring all the time, and they close bases and they merge bases with others. Me being a veteran myself, my first duty station no longer exists. The base is still there, but it's now like part of a bigger regional command. So, I don't know why the military does that. I guess somewhere along the line they're saving pennies. But that's basically it. So Kelly Air Force Base as its own is not around anymore. But it is still there as a facility. It's just part of Lackland now. But anyway, I don't want to stray too much off topic. But it was requested by the command as because they wanted a watch that could withstand high altitude and extreme changes in pressure. So, I guess the military, when they do these things, they send out bids and companies come back, and most of the time they go with the lowest bidder. So I don't want to say that's what Marathon did, because this is not a cheap watch, and it doesn't feel cheap either. But they also wanted a watch that was easy to read, and I guess Marathon won out, or that's, they liked what Marathon did. And yeah, since then, this watch has been issued, and there's a lot of different variations of this watch. You can go on the Marathon website. There's U.S. government. There's ones with U.S. government on the dial. These are issued to law enforcement. There's some with sterile dials, and that's just for this version. This is just the pilot's watch. Marathon makes a couple other different kind of watches. Their stuff's actually, they have a lot of good, cool designs. A lot of them are very simple, but they work. I mean, they're just cool. You go on their website and, man, you'll be on there for a while browsing. They don't have a ton of different models, but what they have is pretty cool. It works. So anyway, that's a little brief background on Marathon Watch. Let's get into the watch itself. So the Navigator, like I said a little bit ago, it's actually classified as a pilot's watch. It was requested, by the Air Force. But this particular one that I have, this is SKU, the SKU model. It's WW1940001BK-0804. These watches actually have a NSN, which stands for National Stock Number. The reason I know what that stands for is, in my time in the military, I was a supply parts petty officer for one of my commands for a little bit of time, so I had to know NSNs and what all these nomenclatures stood for. So that's why I know. I guess useless knowledge to me now, but it wasn't back in the day. So yeah, these have a NSN, and that NSN, what it is it's the sterile dial variant. On this dial, and I'll show you in a little bit, the only thing that it has the H3 on by the 9 o'clock. And by the 3 o'clock position, you got the radiation logo. And it has that radiation logo because this watch doesn't use lume, it uses tritium tubes. For those of you who don't know, tritium is a radioactive gas that emits light. It's not enough radiation to get you sick, but I guess that, you know, they put the logo there for a reason. If you're familiar, if you been watching the channel for a little bit, then you would know that I did the Luminox Navy SEAL Blackout. That watch also uses tritium instead of lume. The thing about tritium is it doesn't need to be charged, and it has a long shelf life. I believe Marathon is claiming 25 years shelf life with this one. I don't remember what it was with Luminox. I don't know if there's different types of tritium or whatever, but 25 years is what they claim. And if you do own a tritium watch or you're familiar with it, then you know tritium itself is not very bright, but it's bright enough. It gets the job done. And I'll put a lume shot here so you guys can see. This is what it looks like in complete darkness. I've been wearing it at work. The nature of my job, I'm in a lot of dark places. And let me tell you, I had no problem telling the time. It wasn't super bright, but it was just enough for me to know, take a glance, and I was able to tell the time with no problem. And for my job, for what I do for a living, staying on time, keeping track of my schedule is very important to me. So it worked. So let's get into some of the further specs of the watch. So you can see here, very simple dial, very easy to use, very easy to read. The bezel itself, bi-directional. I will say this about the bezel though. The locking action on it, it's not that strong. I mean, it doesn't move around like freely, but a couple times throughout the day, you know, I'll bump it or I'll look down and I'll notice that it was shifted. Now, I'm not using this right now to keep track of another time zone, which is why you would use a 12-hour bezel, to keep track of a second time zone. I wasn't using it for that, but just if I were, then that would have bugged me a little bit, just to look down and see it moved over a little bit. I don't know, maybe it's just my bezel. I did buy this watch pre-owned. I didn't buy it brand new, so maybe that's why. Maybe brand new, they're a little more stiff, but just something to keep in mind if you do decide to purchase this watch. Look out for that. So the watch itself uses an ETA F06. It's a high torque quartz movement. ETA, you know, these watches, I didn't mention it earlier, even though Marathon themselves are based in Canada, their watches are made in Switzerland. So they're made in Switzerland and then they're distributed out to whoever else, whatever organization buys them, or even to you. And what's funny is these come in the most no frills packaging. Like, I didn't get the original box with this one because it is the most no frills military packaging that there is. It's basically just a brown box with a sticker with numbers and stuff on them. Didn't come with this NATO. This is I put this on myself. I also put this Sunto compass on. I just felt it fit the watch. It gave it that field watch aesthetic to it. Even though this isn't technically a field watch, to me it feels like one. So the case itself is a composite plastic material. It's actually very, very lightweight. It almost feels like nothing on your wrist. Case back, stainless steel case back. Case diameter is 41 millimeters, 13 millimeters thick. This doesn't wear like a 41 millimeter watch. It actually wears kind of small. It doesn't feel like you're wearing a big watch on you at all. I guess that just goes to it being lightweight. So it's very comfortable on the wrist. So before I do the wrist shots, I just want you guys to see what the case back looks like. You get all the part numbers and all the tolerances of the watch. This is the most military case back that you can get. It takes me back a little bit, honestly. I'm sorry for the light. I'm trying to get it, you know, not to reflect, but it's got a little bit of a polish on it. So it's, I'm doing the best I can here. But a pretty cool case back. Very no frills watch. I mean, in terms of what you get, this is really not fancy, but it's not meant to be fancy. It's just meant to be a workhorse, and that it is. This thing is pretty tough. So this is what it looks like on wrist. You see, it's, you know, 40 millimeters, and like I always say, I don't have the biggest wrist in the world. Comfortable watch. Doesn't bother me at all. Feels great. Very light. You know, I could go all day wearing this. I mean, I have. Very comfortable watch. You know, not thick, not overly thick on you. Crystal. Now this particular one is acrylic. This is probably a few years old, you know, when I bought it. The newer versions of this actually come with a sapphire crystal, so that's nice. You check that out on Marathon. I think these run for about $385 brand new. I got this one for a little over $200, so that's why I jumped on it. When I looked at the pictures, it was barely worn, so I was like, yeah, shoot, why not? It's a good deal for this watch. As I mentioned, this is not the stock strap that it comes with, but it comes with a black strap. I really didn't like it too much. 20mm lug width though, so you can swap it out for almost anything you like. And with that, now that I've given you guys some shots on the wrist and I've given you my overview of the watch overall and specs, let me give you my final thoughts. So the Marathon Navigator, what do I think? I think this is a dope little watch, man. I really enjoy it. It's one that I'm probably gonna hold on to for a long time. I don't see myself getting rid of it. I do tend to sell watches off after a while if I don't wear them, but I don't think that's gonna be the case with this one. I really enjoy it. This does come in a lot of different, well, not a lot of different colors. They come in like a brown camo and not camo, but like a brown desert color. They also come in sage green. A few different dial variations, sterile, U.S. government markings and whatnot. They also have a couple of other different models that they sell. There's another one that I have my eye on that I really like, but it's a little on the higher end of the price spectrum. So that one might have to wait a little bit, but Marathon, man, I don't regret buying this. I think you won't either if you're interested. So if you're on the fence about it, go ahead and pull that trigger, man. You won't regret it. So with that said, guys and girls, I'm going to end this one here. I will see you on my next review video. Peace. What up, YouTube? It's your boy Vic, the Brooklyn Watch Guy. If you like my videos, please hit the like button and subscribe. And don't forget to hit the notification bell so you know every time I put a new video up. Peace.